Welcome to Moving Forward, sponsored by MPW Mocklink TV and Mocklink Internet, online at mpw.org. Each weekday morning, our local talk segment brings you the people who are helping move our community forward. Let's start the show.
Good morning, AM 860 and FM 95.1 KWPC. I'm Jordan Davis. Thanks for tuning in with us here on this Friday. TGIF, as I always like to say here on these Fridays. Right now, when you turn on Mocklink Internet, TV, and or phone services, you get $10 off each for 3 months. That's a $90 savings on 3 services for 3 months. Details at mpw.org. Moving forward, as always, brought to you by Muscatine Power and Water. Thanks again for tuning in with us this morning. We've got in the studio Chris Anderson and Megan Summit from Project Paint the Pearl. How are you two this morning?
Doing great.
Doing well.
Excellent. We're so excited to have you in because this is kind of an interesting, Chris, honest to God, walked in out of the blue. What was it? Was it last Friday?
Yep.
Last Friday, just walked in and said, hey, I'd like to come on Moving Forward because we've got something exciting we'd really like to talk about. Chris, can you pull that microphone just a little bit closer to you? Megan,
yes,
honestly.
Sure.
Yeah, there you go. That way we can pick you both up pretty good. So, again, it's an interesting thing. I honestly hadn't heard a thing about it yet, and I'm pretty excited to get the word out about it. So let's talk about Project Paint the Pearl. What is it?
Well, first of all, like I was telling you, we've been working with art in the community for a while, and with that we use our eyes to see art, and the thought crossed my mind, sound and radio, and that's what brought me to come see you and do this today.
It's an art form, yeah.
So we can reach more people.
Yeah.
I've been working with the community since about 2013, painting murals and doing different art, working with Pearl, and I didn't expect for it to take on the scale it has, but I'm very proud that we're about to go into another level of beautifying the community.
And there's all sorts. There's been a couple of little projects that I've seen, like do you know the poetry, the sidewalk poetry contest that goes on? That's one of those kind of beautifications. It's awesome. It's a really cool thing to do. So this is another. While that is a visual, it's reading versus visual, which is your murals or your paintings. So tell us a little bit about, you've put up 1, 2, 3, I can't remember. I think you meant 4.
I think, or more. I'm not quite sure.
Okay, where have you put those up at?
Well, a number of places. On the back of the Pearl Museum, the National Pearl Museum. There's one on Iowa and 2nd Street above the accountant's office. I'm not sure.
The one that says Muscatine and when you're going to the,
Yep. And then, many other smaller murals, like I got to give a shout out to O Almitos. They have a sign on their wall that I did. And the Muscatine County Boxing Club with Santos, and they do amazing things down there.
And he just did an advertisement for the outside of my store, The Wild Thing.
Okay.
And so that's really already paid for itself. Like, people are now noticing where it kind of just blended in before. There's so much color. And we based that off the vintage Muscatine postcard.
Okay.
And so we did The Wild Thing, and we did it very colorful, and we've just keep on adding things. It's been a fun process. So now we're going to work on the wall that is on the other side of the store. Okay. So, it's this whole blank wall that we're going to be working on.
A picture of it was recently published in the journal.
Okay.
And it showed a blank picture, which it's been hung on Greg Jenkins' office for the last 3 weeks, and he's been kind of just enjoying looking at it. What I did yesterday was I just simply took some colors and took that same picture, and I added some colors to the picture.
That's cool.
And keep in mind, this is just to show what colors can do, compared to a black and white sketch. Up here is the postcard that she just mentioned that we used to depict the Wild Thing logo. What I'd like to see happen is put that postcard up here on this other adjacent building, and that's probably where I'll start this next week. And
And then that whole piece there, that whole sunset's going to be on the side of that wall?
Yes.
Wow.
Something similar to this. I'd like to see the range of color in the sky, much like Mark Twain quoted. Muscatine has the most beautiful sunsets. So I'd like to see a full range of colors throughout the sky. Maybe even some more clouds. And this is pretty basic, but that on that note, I'm open for any ideas or any kind of input that the community has on what they'd like to see. The basic idea is this, but we're willing to you know, I'd like to hear anything anybody has as far as ideas.
Well, that looks like a huge undertaking to get that whole thing painted.
It's gonna be. Yeah.
What does the time frame look like for you?
Well, normally, believe it or not, I've been able to do some really large artworks within a week's time.
No kidding.
He paints freaky fast. it's freaky.
However, this time, with the experience that I've gained over the years, I've learned that most all mural artists never do it that fast. And for a reason, with a few weeks of time, I can do more creative process and the end result will look much better.
Gotcha.
So that's what we're developing right now. That way we can do this for the long run to make it count.
Okay, I got you. You know, because it's something that's probably going to be there for a long time. So
guaranteed 25 years.
Yeah. So you want to make sure that, you know, it's everything, every little piece of it. I'm sure. I can't imagine. I'm certainly no artist. I can't put pen to paper to save my life, or, you know, I can't put brush to paper. But I'm sure that it's tough to not just envision it, but then actually take what's in your head to the canvas. Is that right where your skill set lies?
That is probably the tough part for someone who isn't gifted, and I've practiced for years, and actually that's the fun part for me.
Gotcha.
All the prep work and like doing these things and getting the idea off the ground is really the hard part. You know, I'd say that's 90% of it.
Gotcha.
The actual painting is
effortless.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's
kind of like you
That's
for
awesome.
Radio, you know, it's so easy for you, you know, and us, we were kind of nervous beforehand, but
Definitely.
yeah, so it's just his gift. Yeah.
So I'm really hoping that I can actually come down. Well, you be doing it at normal times of the day, you know. Awesome. Hopefully
Anytime
we
it's
come out
sunny,
and watch
that's
it.
for sure.
So now, how you said you're open to folks' suggestions. So what does that mean? You're like, do you have somewhere where folks can reach out to you and be like, hey,
Absolutely.
this would look good? Or
Yeah. So, and we're trying to fundraise for this project and
Okay.
involve the community. So we started up just like a really basic website, and then we're going to make up some flyers. We kind of have one here today, and take it around to businesses and see if, you know, they would be willing to help fundraise.
Okay.
And there's going to be different tiers of what they can give to support, and then they will be listed on the wall under sponsorships. And,
okay.
you know, so we kind of want to, the businesses that decide to help us fundraise, we kind of want to get their input. Like, is there something that you would like to see in it? Or, you know, what do you think it looks like? Because we definitely want to make it a community effort project, kind of a community bonding project.
And the piece that you just held up for us, you know, the river is such it's hard to think about Muscatine and not think about the mighty Mississippi right off the banks, because, you know, that's been probably the most integral part of Muscatine, how it's come about. So the river is an important part, but we have such a rich industry too, you know, history from the Pearl Button Museum. I went down there, we did moving forward from there, I don't remember how many months ago that was, but we did one from there, and I got a whole tour from the general Terry Eagle down there, and
awesome.
It's fascinating all the history from just from the pearl industry that was here in Muscatine. Not to mention he walks you through a whole bunch of other stuff that was going on in the area too. So. What a rich history, and I can only imagine what folks will be bringing to you to say, hey, what about if we add something like this to the...
I can't wait.
That's great.
That'd be awesome.
That's really great. So this is such an interesting project because, you know, you think about, not a lot of folks think that a mural is going to be, you know, is at the scale that you just showed me. I wasn't expecting that. When I think mural, I think more like that postcard, like that one. A whole wall of a building, that's something else.
Yeah.
It is, and it takes a lot of doing, and I surely couldn't even come close to doing it by myself. I'm so grateful to have this community and the great people that are supporting this project and making it possible to make it look beautiful.
That's awesome. What a cool thing, you know. It's just neat to see that there's folks that are worried about making Muscatine look pretty. That's an awesome thing because you know it's a whole nother thing to when you're walking through the downtown, which we've got such a rich downtown of it's got that old town feel to it, that old downtown. So seeing stuff like that going up on it's just going to make it. It's going to take it to the next level. I think. So
you know, people they'll travel to see art, you know, and like the price or the value is really how much do you love your town, you know what I mean? Like I really love Muscatine, you know, and I've been spending a lot of time on my own time to make sure that people notice that this town is great, you know, and I have a feeling that it's just going to get better and better.
Yeah, you're helping turn it into the Pearl of Mississippi, right there.
That's right. Yes, sir.
Well, that's awesome. Well, is there anything else you guys want to add? Can you give us the website and everything like that?
Yep. So you could go to our Instagram for my business, The Wild Thing. So it's at Follow the Wild Thing, and then the link is listed to the website. Also, I will put it on the Wild Things Facebook page later on today, and then we're going to kind of start to reach out to different businesses in Muscatine.
So if there are any businesses listening right now, you know, any business owners or anything like that, what should they expect when they're coming to you guys with, you know, maybe sponsorship, maybe trying to figure out how they can help?
Yeah, so we have different tier levels. So like $50 commitment would be like the bronze level. Okay. And so then there's kind of, you know, where their names are listed or how big their names are listed or how much they, you know, contribute. But anybody with ideas, you know, we just would love to hear them.
Gotcha. Excellent. Well, this was interesting. Chris, I'm so glad you walked in the door last week. It's been great to talk to you both because this is a really, again, I say it's a cool thing, but I mean, there's really no better way to describe it than it's going to be awesome.
It is.
To get to finally see the end result. And I gotta make sure that I check out the other. I've seen the one on second. It was on I-1 second, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I've seen that one before, but I can't say that I've seen the other three that you said you put up. I'll have to check out. Is the one in El Olmito?
No, it's outside. You can see it if you're on what is that?
It's Mulberry, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's on the outside on the front.
Yeah, if you're driving past
it has a bird.
The Hy-Vee Wine and Spirits, and you look up, you'll see it. It used to be an old sign, and I just refurbished it.
I drive that every single day. I can't believe I haven't noticed that one yet. I guess
you will now.
I say like the bad thing. I pay too much attention to the road, but I like to stay focused on what's in front of me. But I'll have to peek for it next time that I'm driving through there. So. Thanks again for you two for joining us this morning. What a cool thing. I'm really hopeful that I get to come out and actually see you at work when you're putting these up. Yeah. So any time frame on when this might start?
So we're hoping, to get the word out today and next week really push the word and then get going.
Yep.
Okay.
So,
all right. So it's right now. All right.
So we'll keep you in the loop.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much, both of you, for joining us this morning. Chris Anderson and Megan Summit joining us this morning for Project Paint the Pearl. What an exciting thing. And be sure to check out, if you are a business owner, you want to get involved, you can reach out to them just the ways that Megan just listed. So thanks again for joining us here for Moving Forward. As always, brought to you by Muscatine Power and Water. If you're not hooked up to Mocklink Internet, TV, or phone services, turn it on for $10 off. Turn one on and get $10 off each for 3 months. Save even more when you bundle 2 or more. Alex, I think you've probably got it on me right now. Why don't you hold up that sign one more time? And why don't you just leave that up while we are heading out? So I'll hold that up, and I'm going to zoom in on a little bit while we leave here this morning.
And also paintthepearl at gmail.com. They can email too.
Reach out. Okay, all right. Well, check that out, folks. That's really cool. Be sure to come and check it out on our Facebook page and our YouTube so that you can see that. So thanks again for joining us here for Moving Forward on the voiceofmuscatine.com.
This has been Moving Forward on KWPC AM 860 FM 95.1, the voice of Muscatine. Moving Forward is brought to you by MPW Digital TV and Mocklink Internet, a designated Blue Zones worksite. Browse to mpw.org. And remember, Moving Forward, local guests making good things happen in the community. Weekdays at 8:15.